You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the June 25th meeting for the Long Beach Park Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Long Beach Park Board to order for the month of June. First order of business is approving the May minutes. It says April, but we're actually talking about May minutes, correct?
Correct.
And I have read those, so I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from May. Okay, all in favor of approving May's minutes? Aye. Okay. Minutes are approved. Okay, Beach Garden Club update. I don't see a Janice. Ellen, do you have anything that? Okay. I can't hear you, but I think that was a no.
Yes, I worked it. It was it's successful. Everyone's very happy. It was a very hot day, and
I assume she's talking about the beach garden walk.
yes, yeah. So I thought Janice was going to be on this, but I know I've read all the things from the Beach Garden Club, and they're all very happy about the turnout. I think we sold over 250 tickets, so we're just still waiting for, some other things. We have a meeting tomorrow, so.
Okay.
So likely to do it again.
There's talk of maybe not next year, like do it every other year.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but they were very happy about it. It really was. It really did turn out nice, even though it was like so hot. So.
Yeah, I heard good things too. Thanks for helping with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other updates from Beach Garden Club? I think so. Activities coordinator, Maddie, do you mind going up and speaking into the microphone?
Well, okay, so I've got quite a bit. First of all, we have one first full week of camp successfully completed. Yay. We had about 30 people signed up before camp even started, which was pretty good. By the end of the first week, we had 60. And then as of today, we're in the middle of the second week, we're up to 75. So it's looking pretty good. We're averaging about 35 to 45 kids a day, which is pretty average, I would say, from over the years. We're expected that next week with the 4th of July and the week after that, we'll get a lot more. That's usually when we tend to get a lot, which that week after the 4th of July is our safety week that we're coordinating with just about everybody, the fire department, police department. We're going to have a lifeguard come over and talk with the kids about different things each week. So we're really looking forward to that and expecting big numbers from that. Lots of returning faces, people we've seen throughout the years, and actually quite a few new faces too. So really excited about that. We're getting some new people coming in and they seem very excited about it. So that's good. Last year we were at 140 campers by the end of the summer. So I can't really say if we'll get near that. I would expect to be somewhat close to that just based off of where we're at already with 75 in the middle of week 2. So that's looking good. For tennis, we're at 15, so we already filled up right away. I actually got really positive comments already on tennis. They've only had 3, I think, so far. And I've had a lot of kids come up to me and say, tennis is so much fun this year. I feel like I've already learned so much in only 3 days, which is really, really good. I'm very glad to hear that. Both of our tennis coaches are really, really involved in tennis outside of just camp. Like they play and they've done a whole lot. They're on teams and whatnot. So they're very knowledgeable about it. And so I think that's really helping the kids a lot and they like it quite a bit. So that's really good. Activities for camp that we have coming up. I had said before, we coordinated with the LaPorte County Public Library. They're coming twice this summer. The first one was yesterday. They brought some little robots for the kids to play with and they had it geared towards our theme, which is down on the farm this week. And the kids absolutely loved it. They had so much fun with it, pressing the buttons and making the robots go all over the place. They were eating it up. I've scheduled a magician actually to come to camp July 14th for our Mystical Minds Week. We haven't had one come before, at least that I'm aware of since I've been here. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing kind of how that goes. And I'm sure the kids will be excited about that, something new. I'm setting a zoo date so we can go to the Michigan City Zoo again, which we usually do every year. And then of course, Safety Week falls into that, with different stuff each week with that. In terms of First Saturday Arts, we are going to be starting that in August. So August 2nd will be our first one. I actually just spoke with Erin on Monday. She's the one that usually does our classes. She's currently working on what kind of activity we're going to do, and that'll be posted up on the Facebook page, probably by next week, so we can get people signed up and get that going. So really excited about that. My only question, I guess, for you guys, and Paul, you might know about this because Zach put you in on the email. I got an email from Barry, the Beach Garden Club. They had asked if we could basically take over the Curious Kids part of the Arts in the Park. And they had basically asked if we could, because they wanted to take a step back from it since they had such great success with their beach walk, and they were all like, we need a break a little bit. And I was like, totally understand. However, I'm a little concerned about the staffing and everything of it. They're asking us to take on the whole planning and designing and getting supplies and staffing it. However, when we hired all of our counselors, we never actually set that as a mandatory date because it's a Saturday and that falls outside of their normal hours. So I'm just a little bit concerned about taking that on just because I'm worried about numbers of having enough people, since that's not necessarily a mandatory day for them to be there since it's a Saturday. Zach said to bring it up, just kind of discuss how that was going to go. I'm not really sure because I don't know what thoughts on that are, or maybe input from the Beach Garden Club. I don't know. I don't know if they can have a certain number come. I mean, I feel like if we maybe try to find a balance between them and us, if we could get people, but
How many did you have last year of the camp counselor?
I want to say we had 4 or 5 of them from last year come, which is usually, I think, about average. But I did tell Carrie that I'm not sure, because it seems like every year that it happens, I'm always out of town for something. And I did tell her this year, of course, I'm out of town again for a wedding. So I don't know how many stations there are for the Curious Kids. So it kind of depends, I think, on how many stations there are and how many we need. So I'm not sure.
And
Can I say something? Oh, there you go.
Garden Club say?
If I remember correctly, there were about 5 stations, but I think it's very flexible
Okay.
based on what we have. And I think whatever stations we do have are very appreciated and valuable. So I think coordination with the garden club is essential. And I think it's very doable to work it out between you two. Both org.
And Garden Club?
But-
Ellen?
This is Ellen Lynch. I do know they really do want to back away from it. However, we could have some kind of sit down and help you figure out the stations. And I would imagine, just like Cindy said, you could have as many or as little stations as you would like. It's up to you.
Were the stations in the past more on gardening type, like flowers and how to grow plants? Or was it on art?
They had, we did face painting. I think they did marble art. They did, that's off the top of my head, that's all I can think. It's just typical crafty stuff because we want to do it quickly and because there's a lot of kids and you want it to move smoothly and quickly. So.
Just Anita Remages, just a quick comment. I think just a month ahead of time is really, and also with not a lot of notice, and just, I understand the Beach Garden Club might be tired from their garden walk, but I think it's a lot to put on you, especially as a first-time person, and not having been at Curious Kids in the past and not having been able to say to any of your people, I'm going to need some of you on a Saturday. I don't think that you need to commit to saying yes to the Beach Garden Club just not wanting to do it this year or any year. I mean,
I don't have a problem with.
that's my only comment.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nita. I don't have any problem with doing it. But I don't think, I I think if you want to plan for it for next year, when you can tell people ahead of time, hey, this is going to be an event and they can plan for that. I think you can totally do that. But I think for this year, if you can find people that want to work and help out, I think that's great. But I don't think, it seems like it's a lot to take on.
Then that was my concern too, with it only being a month out. Like, I know they are small things, but like, I know like I said, I don't know how many stations there usually were, but I just am worried about, obviously having the staff. And I mean, I can make the time to try to organize little things like that. I just think that like for this year, if it would be helpful to like,
That's what I was
both of us
thinking.
kind of
If-
step in, and then we can kind of ease out of
Right.
them doing it just over the next couple of years. I have
Yeah,
no
if you
problem
could
with that.
identify a few people that would be willing to help on that day and do that, then you can let them know that hopefully if they're here next year, they can be kind of the ones in charge of
Yeah.
when you help out next year,
Yeah.
because they will have done it before.
Excuse me. Did I understand you won't be there?
No, I won't be there. No,
Okay.
I have a wedding out of town that weekend.
I will be there.
Okay.
So I'm one. I did mention, I think at the last board meeting, that Service League, New Buffalo Service, is they do a fall festival kind of art show. And we were talking about promoting in that. And they also said that they have volunteers that are sometimes looking for projects. They might have some, 3 or 4 volunteers
Mhm.
that would be willing to help us out. It's the Service League, of the Buffalo Service League. And I know 4 people on it. And had gone to their event. It's in October, so it doesn't conflict with what we're doing in July, but could our people know that event. They were going to contact or else they would. But if we think
I know it's successful every year and it's a big hit, and I just want to make sure that like we don't have like a huge gap in people that can't help run it and make it successful just because it's so, last minute with a month
Right.
out. So I just want to make sure that like we have enough people between both possibly this year, just to make sure that like we do run it smoothly. Like,
Yeah,
so.
I agree. I think that makes sense. So I would suggest, if it makes sense to you for next year, try and assign some people to help out this year. But I think it's too late to take on the overall responsibility.
How would they be paid then if she?
Well, it would just be additional hours for them, right?
Yeah, we usually just add it on as additional hours, in which I do tell them that, like, this is a great opportunity to earn some extra hours. I just know that for teenagers, sometimes asking to come out on a Saturday is not always the easy, especially a month away. So
Right.
were the activities run from 10 to 2?
as far as I know, they've run the full time. And I think last year, or maybe even the last couple of years, they've split it. So they've put it shifts to kind of encourage them even more. Like, hey, if you can make it from 10 to noon, you can work 10 to noon. Or if you can only come from 1 to 2, come from 1 to 2, like anything to encourage them to come, which I definitely have thrown out there. But again, sometimes it's hard to get them to come out on a Saturday when they're not, expected to. So that was my only concern about it. That was all. Thank you.
And
Actually, I had one more question. Sorry. What were the dates for Safety Week?
July, it's the week after the 4th.
Okay,
Yeah, 7th through the 11th.
great. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, we have the tennis court pickleball overhaul updates. That will be kind of time sensitive. We have another issue about the stop 22 repair. If it makes sense, do you guys want to do that now? To catch people up, in a second, yes. So in stop 22, there's a house under construction. They were using the town property as a access, way to carry materials up. There was a stop work order placed because of that, and we need to get that repaired. So, are you the contractor? Yeah, go up there. Why don't you go up there and just explain your name and what the plan is?
So my name is Steve Thomas. I'm the one that contacted Zach yesterday, and I believe he shared
Right.
the emails back and forth with the entire board. So did you guys get a chance to look through Dan's proposal?
Yes. Yeah, I think the proposal looks good.
Okay.
We were just discussing the timing of when to do it.
So that was one thing. Zach asked me a series of questions yesterday, and when I got through it, I wish I would have stepped back a little bit. One of the questions was, will we be starting immediately? What I should have said was, that kind of depends on Dan's schedule, because I don't know what that workload is right now. The other thing is too, with it being so hot and dry right now, I don't know if this is the best time to put sod down. Dan would know better than I would. But depending on how that all works out, we'll get it done as soon as possible. We just don't want to put a bunch of sod down and then it dies.
Sure. Okay. I see that point. Can I ask a question of you, Dan?
Go ahead.
Give a plug for your company, say who you are.
Dan Carabine from Dan's Landscaping.
Okay, so what is the latest, or let me ask this way, what's the earliest it would make sense to plant sod and have a good success?
It's going to be like the 1st of September would be your best time to do it because you get to cooler nights and then you're getting to doing stuff like that. And like I told you before, we'll put 3 to 4 inches of soil. I'll make sure it's graded correctly and I'll make him commit to it and make him pay the contract in full. That way he cannot back on it because I know that was your concern, but I know he's going to commit to it. But what I'll do is bring back the check, show that he signed it. That way he can't get out of it.
Yeah. Okay. So what we could do, what I would suggest, and for us to vote on, I guess, is I've read the proposal. And I think what you're planning to do is correct, appropriate, and it's great. I was leaning toward doing it now, but as Margaret said, it may not be the best time to plant sod, and we can give it a better chance. But if we can see a signed contract
Mm-hmm.
and an expectation that it's done by, say, September 15th,
That's feasible.
and also that we would suggest to the building commission, building department, that they don't issue an occupancy permit until that's done, then I would be okay with proving that.
And not to interrupt you, but an occupation permit, that's not going to happen. A lot of work on the inside.
Right. That's the last resort.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take,
Yep. Understood.
can't stress that.
And then I'll make him commit to, I'll actually get some hoses and I'll put some timers on there. So that way the town doesn't have to take the liability of it dying.
Yeah, no, I'm
taken
not
care of.
saying that we have to wait to do it until the occupancy permit is granted. I'm just saying that it's not going to happen unless this has been done and it's been restored.
And again, you guys hold the 8 ball here,
Right.
the
So,
occupancy.
and the other thing that's important to us is that they don't continue to use that as a walkway, right? That needs to stop.
When you say it's going to take a while, do you mean in the back where there might be some cement or boulders?
There is so much work on the inside. They have not even insulated yet.
So the delay you don't see as being something that would impact parkland.
Correct. Yeah. And then what they're planning on doing is when they do have to go down to do any work in the back, they're going to basically be hugging the side of the house. They are planning on staying off that property. He doesn't want this to occur again. Trust me.
Okay.
Would it be helpful to have it marked at all? So those workers.
The
It
snow fence?
probably wouldn't.
I was going to suggest
Something.
that temporarily.
I will mention that to Michael, and you're right. That probably would not be the dumbest idea of all time.
We will be installing a split rail fence along there as well. Not yet. And not because of this, but at all the stops, we're trying to put fences to very clearly
Okay.
delineate where the town's property is, because this is not the first time nothing has happened. So,
And then to reiterate, what Zach asked me yesterday, yes, Michael does plan on sprinkling the grass. I mean, like I'd mentioned in the email, he wants that area to look beautiful because he's living right next to it.
sure, I get it. Okay. Any other discussion?
Dan, I'm sorry.
Carabines, CAR.
Oh, just like. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion amongst us, or else I would make a motion to approve with some conditions. Yeah, so my motion would be to approve this plan as it's written here in this estimate. Number 1929. Subject to receiving a signed version of this contract, so we know it's actually going to happen, and the expectation that it's done by September 15th. And that if that doesn't happen, a occupancy certificate won't be issued until it is.
And if we somehow get into weather issues, I mean, and we'll know if there are weather issues, we'll try and, hey, we had 3 weeks of solid rain.
So that is my motion. 2 seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Okay, so you'll get us a signed
Yep.
contract.
Yep.
And we'll plan for doing that between the 1st and 15th of September. And still no using it, in the meantime, it's probably wise to put up something, because I know you're not always there when subcontractors are there and they might not know that that's not their property.
If we put up like a snow fence or something, just to kind of delineate the difference, or is the town okay with that, just as a
I
temporary?
think that'd
measure?
look gaudy. We'll figure something out. Maybe
Something to
poles.
make it clear to contractors that
That'll help
we can't
us.
go that way.
I think snow fences.
Yeah, there's probably something a little smaller and
Yeah.
Even
just
if
look at the
it's
point
just
across.
Metal posts with just
Numbers on it.
wire in between. Visually
Medical rope.
barely there, right?
That'll be fine.
Okay.
If we put something down and you're not happy with it.
Oh, kind of. Okay, thanks very much. Thanks for coming in.
And then my final question is, and I've talked to Chris Willoughby and he's not really quite certain, is your approval all that we need now to start progressing, or do we still need approval from the town council?
You probably need, do you want to go up and explain? The answer to your question, I think, is no.
Anita Remages, again, you need to go to the building commission to get a permit for the work to be done on the easement.
Because I spoke with Larry yesterday.
Yeah.
He wasn't either.
Well, we can-
So I would,
But Larry
Check it.
was approving.
that's what I mean. So yeah, I would just check with him, but
Yeah.
I just checked with.
Larry did the stop work order, so we can let Larry know we're okay with the plan. He can then undo the stop work order or whatever that entails.
I'm sorry, what'd you say again? We needed. Okay, okay.
Not have to be.
Yeah.
Responsible.
Okay.
Okay,
I appreciate your time.
thanks very much.
Um.
Okay. Back to tennis court, pickleball court overhaul, review options and game plan. Oh, no problem.
Again, I got proposals from BE companies and from Dive Hattery. And they were sent,
Put your mic down.
oh, they were sent to your emails. It's hard to go over it because they did them differently. B3 did theirs, and one proposal was saying you can eliminate if you don't want to have a 3D design, and the village or the town is doing the topical survey in that. So we can, I believe, eliminate that fee. So we have to go through it and see what.
So is this their proposal to do the designs?
Yeah,
That-
they
that what
did
this is
both.
for?
They did a proposal to design, and then V3's is a combination of that. The Shive Hatterley did it, two separate ones. One which is the to do like construction final design, and the other one is they referred to it as the preliminary design. So
Okay.
the total as proposed, and again, some things have to be deleted in the B3, is that the primary design that we talked about initially needing was a total of 25 for the site design development and construction documents, and bidding and construction administration services was 24. So that was 49,000.
Okay,
Their design one was,
okay.
let's say 12.
I haven't had a chance to look at that yet, but I'll look at
So-
that. And
And I thought with Zach not being here, we probably should all look at it. see where they vary, so I can go back and find out.
Was there
Apples to
anything when you went
apples.
through them that felt like was missing, but
No, but again, they have their own ways of doing things, so I'm trying to get to apples, and that's what's, I just got the other one the other day, so I haven't had a chance to do that.
Before we do the actual design, one of the things we're going to need is that survey. Has anybody heard anything about?
Well,
survey?
I know I was working on it, and then Zach had called too, and when I talked to the chief, he was saying that Joy, I believe, was ordering it, but I don't know how long they said it was going to take or when they were going to be doing it.
We should get you your own mic, Anita. Sorry.
Joy and Zach talked the other day, and so Joy was told by Steve Thate it was 6 to 8 weeks out. So it was approved. I mean, that's what it is.
Okay,
So
so
it
it's
was
just in
approved
queue
at
for
the
being
June
done.
council meeting, and she reached out to Steve the next day. So, it'll be done
Okay.
when he gets it done.
Okay. I didn't realize it was already in their queue to be done. So that's good to know.
Yeah, no, it's,
Okay. All right. That makes me feel better. The plan is that once we have that survey, then we'll know how to fit things in, and then we can start doing some actual designs. That's what we're trying.
there was also one mentioned, like, if we could keep it under an acre, because, they looked at the whole area from the community center, the whole parcel that's there, that would reduce the fee to have it less.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm excited to look at that. Thank you. Anything else on tennis court and pickleball?
No, just do we want to get a third one? Berglund, I still haven't been able to reach.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else has any other,
I have,
I think they did Chesterton, didn't they? Berglund?
I don't know about that, but I had some updates for new business I can just do now because it's related to this. But two things. I met with a group of pickleball players yesterday who are willing to do fundraising to help raise the costs
Sure.
to do this. It sounds like that may be successful, and it might really lower the amount that the town has to put into it, which might help us get it done faster than, trying to have to do the whole thing ourselves. And also we found the IHCDA grant, which could get us matching grant of $50,000, which would be another huge help. So
Is that the one Janice mentioned, but
Yes.
she said you have to wait till May or something?
no, it's rolling. It's rolling approvals.
Okay,
So
great.
we want to try and do it before the money runs out. So
Who's we?
good question. It's us. So the way this works is it's a crowdfunding program, kind of like a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter type thing. So once we have the design that we want to do and we know what the project's going to cost overall, we put together a page in this system. Can't remember the name of it, but it's like a GoFundMe type page. And then we detail, here's what we're going to do, here's what it's going to cost. And then everybody can donate whatever they want. And it kind of shows the donations, and you can offer premiums for people to donate certain amounts. But that lets us raise up to $50,000. And if we do that, then the state will match that $50,000. So we'll still need more than that likely, but that would be a huge help. And it's a really easy way to get the community involved because it's web-based. You just go online, you can see it, and everybody can donate. You don't have to sit behind a table at Al's trying to get people to pay money. Like, it's an easier way to do it. So it's a really good program. So to make it official, I wanted to make a motion that we apply for that and get the ball rolling, even though the time when we actually put it out there to be the money to be raised is going to be a while. But I want to get it going because there is a long process. They'll assign a person to us called a coach to help us do it the right way and make sure we're successful.
So I ask about the us because us or the group that you talk to,
Us.
do they want to be involved?
Well, they probably will
in
be.
the grant writing part at all?
They will help, I'm sure, however, but it needs to be in the name of the
Right,
town.
of the town,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, but Janice, after our meeting last month, we were talking about it out on the steps there, and she was saying to me that, if I'm remembering right, that she thought Meg or someone would be involved from the town council? Because I thought it would be the park board. And she said, now to do the grant, it would probably be the town council.
Yeah, the town will sign up for the grant process. And then when it comes to donations, that group will do it however they want to do it, but we will just accept the donation as
Yeah.
one lump sum.
But I think what Margaret was saying, are we writing out the application and the proposal, or is that
I
through
don't-
the
I don't
board?
believe there is an application or proposal. I think the only thing we have to write out is this webpage.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah. It's not like you have to apply for it and get it. It's just you have to raise.
You just,
okay.
okay.
So it's not this
But
grant.
as the
that's
park
gonna-
board, we can do that. It doesn't have to be a town council person. It can be a park board.
Correct. Yep.
Perfect.
Yes. So it will be one of us or Meg or somebody, but it'll be the town that is kind of owning the fundraising.
And did we look any further into doing Friends of the Parks or whatever as a separate?
We could do that. The problem is it's just going to take more time for another group to get organized, get a
Okay.
501c3 approval. They actually were talking about doing it if we needed to through Long Beach Civic.
Yeah, I was wondering,
Because
is that possible?
They are already a 501c3. So if that's a way to make it tax deductible and make it easier to collect the money and then.
Like a special project that they would?
Right.
maybe
I just,
willing to
I did
oversee.
warn them that you're bringing another entity in and when you get them the money, hopefully they'll, donate it as well. But yeah, one way or another, for people who are donating, it needs to be a tax deductible donation. Or else you're not going to get the same level of donations. So pretty excited about that. The good thing, on the one hand, we hear a lot from the pickleball players about conditions and things, but on the other hand, there are a lot of them and they can hopefully raise some money. So hopefully help us. So you are, oh, you're Norm. Yes, you are relevant to this. So yes, please go say your name and we talked on the phone, Norm, but it's good. to see you.
Norm Brimmer, yeah, Norm Brimmer, 2800 Lindale Way, pickleball player and former tennis coach. So I kind of see both worlds there. It just came in tonight just to keep our end of it updated, the groups that we play with, they have questions and so on. And so just want to have a little background on it. First, I do want to thank you guys for the new rolling nets and frames. All positive comments are working out just great. And any of the old equipment, as I've said in communications, we store on the stage at the community center. I suggest that if you haven't already, that maybe you talk with Ann Haywood, the clerk of Michiana, Michigan. I had a conversation with her today about the pros and the cons of the pickleball facility they have there. It's really a nice facility. Some problems that I could foresee, 80% of their players are non-residents. So if you build it, they will come. But sometimes be careful what you wish for.
Right.
They are now charging a parking fee because the residents can't even park their cars because it gets so many people coming in. So, these are all issues that perhaps, you should think about before or when you're designing and thinking about how extensive you want to make it. We've had so far no problems that I've seen as far as sharing with tennis and pickleball. The flow is pretty good. The players come and go. Everybody is very open about letting some people play. I know at Michiana, their issue is with recreational play versus open play. So if 4 people just are beginners and want to go play, a lot of times they have a hard time getting on a court because the way pickleball works is 4 on, 4 off when there's a crowd, or winners stay and the two people can come in and they may not be skilled or just beginners. They just want to play with their friends. So they're having an issue there. There's people are coming at 7 a.m. to start playing. They're finding they have to lock the courts at night. So again, I think maybe if you have the chance, just talk with her because she could probably tell you or forewarn you to any issues that are coming up.
I'm sorry, Norm, what was her name again?
Her name?
Ann Haywood.
Ann Haywood. She was the former clerk here when it was an elected position, and now she's the clerk at Michiana, Michigan. So, so those are some
It
of the-
was on my list to talk to Michiana, so yes, that's,
yeah, maybe you've already done that.
I'm not yet.
Cindy Levy has talked to them.
Yeah. It just depends on what the scope is, what the size of addition. The 2 tennis courts and 4 pickleball courts that are dual purpose here are working out really well. Again, the courts need to be upgraded. So there's a lot of dead spots in them, but otherwise it seems that we've got enough people coming in to play and everybody's getting a chance to play. But if you build a lot of new courts, you got to expect you're going to have a lot of
Right.
people who will say, oh, Long Beach, and that's not as far as Michiana, and they're going to come and play, which is okay, but you want your own residents to have an option too. So
Yep.
those are just a few things that I thought I'd
No, I
bring.
appreciate that. To be honest, we hadn't really gotten as far as thinking about the success. How do we make it happen?
Right.
But you're right, like
Yeah, everybody wants more courts. We'd
Successful,
love to have more
that comes
courts.
with its own problems as well that we need to think about. So-
Yeah.
I have a question. When you were describing open play and recreational play, I see those as the same. Are you talking about league play and open play?
Usually, open play is where you play and then if there are people waiting to play, they go in as either 2 or 4. They play a game, and if there's people waiting, they have to
Rotating.
come off.
Okay, so they wrote,
So people are coming on and off. That's usually the way open play works. Where recreational play, if 4 friends come and want to play in the afternoon and stay on the court, nobody's going to kick them off.
okay.
But with open play, you want to rotate around it. And that's hardly ever a problem. People will come and we work them in. And if we have 16 people playing, that's all 4 courts. And 4 people come and they want to play, we'll either work them in as a 2 or a 4. So that's open play. Recreational is just, you want to go and for beginners, that's really good. So,
Okay.
all right.
Do they have any problem with league play? Because I've heard more about problems with leagues and
Yeah, well, we don't have that here, but per se, but they do at, Ann Haywood said they do have that. They have leagues come in from LaPorte and they come in and play. So you just want to make sure that your own people, your own residents get a chance to play. And again, up there, parking is an issue. They have to charge to park.
Right. One question I had, what's your take? I played pickleball like 3 times in my life, so I'm not an expert. But what's the take on dedicated pickleball courts versus striping a tennis court to go either way?
Well, people prefer pickleball. They prefer to have a dedicated pickleball court. That's the big draw. We've adapted real fine doing with the dual purpose here. And especially with the roller frames that you just bought us, it really makes it a lot easier to do. If you build permanent pickleball courts, you're going to draw a lot more people. It's just a fact that they will. And Michigan City isn't helping out because they have no dedicated courts, I don't think. So the people are looking for a place to play. So, but
Okay.
I think the players here have adapted very well to tennis court, pickleball, the double lines. We can work that real well. So my suggestion is just fix these up. Don't put a Band-Aid on them. Tear them out, do it right, get the substructure done right, and then go from there. And by that time, maybe you'll have your fundraising for your additional ones.
Right.
So, all right, thanks for listening.
Yes. Thanks, Norm. Appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
We go back.
Oh, yes.
Just to what Norm was talking about with parking, Ann Haywood is HEY, actually a neighbor, and she's moving. Yeah, I know.
heard.
So the parking is, I was just talking to Chief today about the parking because with the summer, you're supposed to get permits for the back parking. And people get permits. And so that parking lot is filling up with people who are giving the permits, which they can do, but to families. And now that parking lot is filling up for people going to the beach. And then they're starting to realize, oh, wait, but I can go park there. And, you know, so much works over there. And that's, Chief and I were just talking about that today, watching, there were four pickleball courts today, this afternoon, around 3 o'clock that we're all playing. And when you talk about dual purpose, I have daughters and who play tennis, and they also play pickleball. But when they come here, they like to play tennis. They've never had a problem integrating into the pickleball games. I mean, they know the rules. They've played both, you know, for a while. So I appreciate that you talk about the dual purpose, and I've talked to Ann just as a neighbor about what's happening. And when you talk about, and the noise complaints. So I don't know if you knew, but there was a noise complaint a couple weeks ago. Somebody's playing pickleball. We have lights over there, but they're playing pickleball at midnight. So they figured out how to turn the lights on, and pickleball can be louder than tennis. So at midnight, they're out there playing pickleball. So I really appreciate your comments because they're
Right.
well thought out. And we've over the years tried to keep those courts viable, and
Right.
now is what the park board is trying to do. It's time to tear them up, but think about what we're doing, the parking, all of that kind of thing.
A lot that goes with it.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you because it's what Ann has, I mean, it's what we're seeing in Michiana is a problem.
It's international. I'm on a park and recreation group, you know, on Facebook and that, and that's, you would think that was the only subject they ever did or any activity. was
Right, but-
Pickleball.
But here,
all
I
the
mean, yeah, I
complaints.
mean, it's just the parking is limited here.
How was the parking when you saw them full today?
When it was full today,
That lot full of?
you know, people manage. You can pull over people. Some people bring their golf carts, some
Right.
people walk. I mean, or you can, some people
Right.
pull around behind,
Yeah, behind the courts.
behind the courts. I mean, some people
We haven't
park
been
there when
getting
they
complaints.
golf. I think everybody, you know, you want to play, and if you live here, you kind of know
Yeah.
where you can go.
Right.
Right?
Most of our people, or half of them, bike in or
Right.
take a motorbike or whatever, golf cart.
Yes.
In worst case, you can park at the community
People
center
don't
as
live
well.
here, they're gonna have to drive.
Yeah.
They're going to have to drive, and they're going to be
That's what's
trying to.
happening in Michigan.
And then I don't know where, and that's what Chief was saying, where are they going to be circling around? And is that what, does he want his officers out there checking everybody's permits? And then where did you go and who are you? And so,
With the dual purpose, they're not apt to want to play here. They can go to Michiana and have a dedicated pickup.
yeah,
It's how Long Beach, dual purpose, all, they've got all the lines and so on. So that's why it's probably working out.
all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One more thought too is when they're doing the design and you mentioned the noise.
Yeah.
And I know they've kicked around ideas, I don't know if you have, but people have said, well, there's old tennis courts right next to the school. They could put pickleball courts there or whatever. I would be against that. We've kind of vetted that idea when we were talking about it years ago. That's the fact that that sound would bounce off the community center, which you have businesses in there. It also would bounce off the houses across Oriole Trail. They would hear the clicking all day long. You probably can hear it here, but at least it's more isolated, I think, where they're located, right here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we were just thinking the tennis courts over near, closer to where the basketball courts are, that area, not pickleball though.
Right, yeah,
Yeah, we can't have it that close to the communities.
yeah, so, pickleball is good right here. I think it's probably maybe bothering the country club a little bit and the town hall a little bit, but at least I think you're okay there. Hey, I'm sorry to take up so much time.
Thanks, Norm.
Thank you.
Okay, so before we get off that, I'll make a motion that we apply for this grant opportunity and get the ball rolling on that. Second, everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we will get that going.
And I haven't looked into it, but there was a recommendation from one of our landscape vendors that the U.S. Pickleball Association sometimes has grants as well.
Hmm.
I'll try to look into it
Yeah.
next week.
Every bit would help, for sure. Okay, moving on to stop landscaping and general upkeep. No updates here other than we'll talk about in whole business. Community Center Park Memorial Garden project update. I would look to Janice for this. Ellen, sometimes you're virtual. Janice, do you have any update for that?
For the, I'm sorry.
Community Center Memorial Garden project.
Yeah, she has a plan and we're gonna go with natives and all that, but I think at this point, because of the heat, we're gonna probably have to wait till like September, because when you put anything new in, you have to water every twice a week at least. And it's kind of hard to get them going, and we'd be much cooler temperatures at night make things grow. And that's true, like even with the grass. So at this point, and it's August and we're having a very hot summer, but there is a plan, and it is still on her agenda.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you. Art in the park. Anybody here that can speak on art in the park?
I think to the extent that I can. I tried reaching out to Sue. I know she was busy with the garden walk, but we're scheduled for the 21st. 26th, I'm doing well so far. The 26th from 9 to 2. I don't know how many vendors we have. Last time she was thinking she was about 12 or 13. I know Zach said he thought he had some food vendors, but I never got any, from him. And the people that we contacted all wanted a commitment, being that it was on a Saturday afternoon, of at least $2,500 or something. So we have not found any food vendors that were willing to come and just.
I think there's like 12 to 15 vendors as of now. Velpo Velvet has been committed, right? And Johnny B is committed to perform. Having the Curious Kids stations, as many as we have. I think everything is going along. The social media flyers have been posted. Thank you for doing that. I think right now it's the publicity that's probably the biggest challenge. So
we'll be posting it on now that the poster is done with the right. Was it the web address that had to be updated? It'll be on Nextdoor. We'll have an ad in the Beecher. It will also be on all events and Eventbrite as a free event. So there's no charge for those two postings. And again, we'll try to cross promote it with not only with the New Buffalo Service League, but also any other art events that we know that are going on between now and then.
Okay. Thanks, Cindy.
Just keep your fingers crossed for nice weather. That's because the poster doesn't say rain or shine, but being that it's at the community center, we're hoping they understand that.
Cindy, you don't have to go back up there, but when you said 12 to 15 vendors, are you talking about artists?
Yes.
Okay. 12 to 15 artists. Got it. Thank you.
Artist booths.
Great. Moon Valley updates. I have no news on Moon Valley. Landscaping at stop 29. So this is kind of the only stop that has work remaining. This is the one where the trees were removed. Dune grass has been planted. We need to put up a fence, the split rail fence, and we need to redo the boardwalk that's there. So Dune the Landscape has said basically they just don't have the capability to do that. They lost some people and they can't do that work. So We're looking to see who can do that work for us, and I think Zach has that under control. The tree at stop 26, there's no change in that. I was thinking we could take this off unless we wanted, there had been discussion about doing a sign saying, hey, a tree was damaged here. Contact us with information, like to make it very clear that we know what happened and we're looking for information. Does anybody think we should do that? Is that worth doing?
I don't know that anybody's really going to pay attention.
Yeah. I like the idea, but I don't. Ellen, do you have any?
I think it'd be counterintuitive. I think we've made our presence clear. I don't like putting "don't do that" signs up. So it'll be just kind of a passive aggressive way, like we're watching or whatever. And I think
Yes,
they already
exactly.
know.
That's what I was
think-
going for.
Yeah. But I think they know we're doing that. I don't think we
Yeah.
need to put it in
That's
words.
fair.
So.
Okay. Well, we can take that off the agenda now and we'll watch that tree and see how it goes.
It's been girdled.
Band-Aid on a sign, a little head saying,
Ellen and I went and put a Band-Aid on.
yeah.
We did.
That's very nice. I saw the photo. It looked
Yes.
great.
Okay, that's all. Have any other public comments? Please go state your name and.
Chief will laugh because I used to always say Anita Ramage is 2300 Florimond. The reason I keep saying the podium is because I've watched some meetings on Zoom and it's like, you know that somebody's talking somewhere, but you don't know what they're saying. So I listened to that at the building commission and, it's just like, oh my gosh, yeah, and talk here because like you explained it, right? Or Chief did, like it's a cone or
Yes.
so if you're like talking over here, nobody's going to hear. And so the Advisory Plan Commission has been tasked with updating the town's 2016 update to the comprehensive plan. And so pickleball and tennis will most likely be part of all the survey questions. And McKenna is the company that is tasked with doing the update. And they just met with us and they're going to be coming up with questions for the survey. So I just want you to know that it just will be reaching out to the residents, looking what people want, what they don't want, and looking for, what the interest is. But it's just, again, people may say, oh, we want the moon, particularly for pickleball and tennis, but you really do have to think about the ramifications of it. And we'll see what kind of things come out of the survey, especially in terms of what do we want for our park board to be doing? There are going to be all kinds of different questions, but again, the park board is really just a vital part of this town. So I appreciate everything you do on it. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, before you leave, thank you for saying that, because I always say like this community is all about recreation and having fun. I do agree with what you're saying. Do you know when that survey for the comprehensive plan is going to be sent out?
They came to our June meeting, which was June 16th. So we're hoping in the next couple of weeks that we would get a draft.
Okay.
So we want to get something out in the next month or two.
Okay.
So they've got to start formulating questions for us. So I don't really have a timeline, but along with the survey, there were, and how that gets distributed, whether it'll be emailed to, the clerk treasurer's office under Meg has really compiled a good list of email addresses, whether we do email, mailing, that kind of thing. And then there will also be meetings at probably the public safety building
Right.
for residents to come, but we will try to do everything we can so that people can be contacted. And then when it's all over, they can say nobody told them and they didn't know.
Right.
So that's key.
No, I appreciate that. I'm,
They'll say it anyway.
yeah, they will, right. But it would be great if we could get that feedback sooner rather than
Yeah.
later, because I don't want to come up with a plan and decide on a plan for pickleball and tennis and then get the survey results 6 months later after we've done it. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, we're working with them to get it moving. We had to wait until, the new year to get funded.
Yeah, I know that
To
stuff
see
takes
where
time.
money was and everything like that. So we're working at it.
Anita, will there also be questions like programming for the community center, like programs and activities, that type of?
There may be questions about, the community center, but all the rooms are rented at the community center right now, except, so,
Like room 12 where they play bridge and mahjong.
right, they have bridge, they have
That-
mahjong, Friends of Bill is there.
Town, or is that the Y?
Oh, no, that's the town,
Okay,
that's
so
the
there-
town building,
So
room
there could
12
be
and room
programs that could be
13.
held there, activities.
Oh, yeah, you can use those rooms. The Beach Garden Club uses that room, uses
Okay.
Irish dancing. So yeah, Zumba's in those rooms. But yeah, that room 12 was totally redone.
know.
I mean, Chief has been great. I'm on the liaison for the community center management team. And it's not really a board. They really just like take care of the place and make sure things are working. But it's been great working with them. It's been carpeted, it's been cleaned. I mean, Chief's over there vacuuming for Pete's sake some days. And the outside of the building has all been done, the bushes. So it's just the lighting. They found lighting when we took away those old bushes. And there was lighting that was back there that actually worked, that nobody ever saw. I went by there, I said I was out after curfew, and I'm like, oh my God. So, that building is really just a nice building. The courtyard's available. So we'd like to see different things there, but it's available. We have a family that used it last year, 2 nights to have dinner there for a reunion. And they're using it 7 nights this week. They're like, nobody has room at their house and no one wants to mess up their house. So they have dinner there from 5 to 8 every night for a week.
Wow.
So, it's available. So, yeah,
Great,
it's working. It's
Very good.
working out.
Questions?
Thanks.
thank you. Any other public comments? All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 18:57.
So move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.